The lunch crowd fell silent the moment the glass shattered across the restaurant floor. Plates stopped clattering, conversations froze, and every pair of eyes turned toward a frightened young waitress standing beside a broken tray while an angry customer towered over her. No one moved. No one spoke until a tired-looking single father quietly stood from his table, placed a comforting hand on his little son's shoulder, and stepped between the terrified waitress and the furious stranger. He had no idea that the woman everyone believed was an ordinary waitress was actually the secret owner of the very restaurant chain she worked in. Sometimes the greatest moments of courage happen when no one is watching, and the smallest acts of kindness can change lives forever. Before we continue, if you believe kindness is never a weakness and that everyone deserves a second chance, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who believes in compassion, and subscribe to Enlightened Story. Your support helps us continue bringing heartfelt stories that remind us humanity still exists. Every morning before sunrise, Marcus Bennett packed his 8-year-old son Theo's lunch, checked his homework twice, and hurried him to school before beginning another exhausting day repairing air conditioning systems across the city. Life had not been gentle to Marcus. 3 years earlier, he had lost his wife after a sudden illness that left him emotionally shattered and financially struggling. Since then, every decision he made revolved around one purpose: giving Theo the stable childhood he deserved. Marcus skipped vacations, ignored his own dreams, and worked weekends without complaint. He had learned that real strength often looked ordinary. It looked like waking up tired, but refusing to quit. That particular afternoon, Marcus had promised Theo a simple lunch. After a successful parent-teacher meeting, they chose a cozy downtown restaurant because Theo loved watching chefs prepare meals through the open kitchen window. It wasn't expensive, but it felt special to the little boy. Marcus smiled as Theo excitedly pointed at desserts they could never afford, silently promising himself that someday he would surprise his son with every sweet treat in the display. The restaurant bustled with business, but one waitress stood out. Her name tag read Evelyn, and despite serving dozens of tables without pause, she greeted every guest with genuine warmth. She treated elderly customers with patience, comforted crying children with gentle smiles, and apologized sincerely whenever food took longer than expected. Unknown to everyone inside, Evelyn wasn't truly a waitress. Her real name was Evelyn Chase, founder and owner of the restaurant company. Once every few months, she disguised herself as an employee to experience firsthand how customers and staff treated one another. She believed numbers on financial reports could never reveal a company's true character. Most employees never recognized her because she wore no jewelry, tied her hair differently, and dressed exactly like every other server. Even the restaurant manager believed she was simply a temporary worker transferred from another branch. As Marcus quietly enjoyed lunch with Theo, disaster struck. An impatient businessman loudly complained about waiting only a few extra minutes for his meal. His voice echoed across the dining room. When Evelyn approached with an apology, another customer accidentally bumped into her, causing the tray to slip from her hands. Glasses exploded onto the floor. Drink splashed across the angry man's expensive suit. His face turned bright red with rage. Instead of accepting the obvious accident, he unleashed cruel insults that made nearby families uncomfortable. He accused Evelyn of incompetence, demanded she be fired immediately, and threatened lawsuits while pointing aggressively only inches from her face. The restaurant manager nervously apologized again and again, but seemed too frightened to defend his employee. Everyone watched. No one acted except Marcus. He calmly asked Theo to remain seated, walked across the room, and positioned himself between the businessman and the trembling waitress. Marcus's voice remained steady, respectful, and firm. He reminded the man that accidents happen to everyone, and that intimidating someone already embarrassed accomplished nothing except spreading more pain. Marcus never raised his voice, never insulted the customer, and never sought attention. He simply refused to let fear silence basic human decency. Theo looked at his father with quiet admiration. In that single moment, he witnessed the kind of man he hoped to become one day. The businessman scoffed before storming out, still shouting complaints as the restaurant doors slammed behind him. The dining room slowly returned to normal, but something invisible had changed. Several customers began helping clean the broken glass. Others quietly applauded Marcus's courage. The atmosphere that moments earlier had been filled with tension now overflowed with unexpected kindness. Evelyn thanked Marcus with tears forming in her eyes. She wasn't crying because someone defended her. She was crying because after years of observing people in secret, she had almost forgotten how powerful genuine goodness could be. Marcus returned to his seat without expecting gratitude or recognition. To him, protecting someone from humiliation was simply the right thing to do. After paying the bill, he left with Theo, believing the incident incident had ended forever. The next morning began like every other. Marcus climbed ladders beneath the hot summer sun, repairing broken cooling systems while Theo spent the day in school. Late that afternoon, Marcus received an unexpected phone call from an unfamiliar office downtown requesting a private meeting. Assuming it concerned a customer complaint, he reluctantly accepted. When Marcus entered the elegant corporate headquarters the following day, he felt completely out of place. Marble floors reflected sunlight from towering windows. Employees hurried through polished hallways, and framed awards covered every wall. Then the conference room doors opened. Standing inside, dressed in an elegant business suit instead of a waitress uniform, was Evelyn. Except she wasn't just Evelyn the waitress. She introduced herself as Evelyn Chase, founder and owner of the entire restaurant company. For several seconds, Marcus couldn't speak. Evelyn explained everything. She described her secret visits, her belief in experiencing restaurants anonymously, and how Marcus's actions had revealed more about true leadership than months of management reports ever could. Hundreds of employees had witnessed the incident through security cameras. Yet only one stranger had chosen courage over comfort. Evelyn wasn't interested in rewarding Marcus with charity. She respected his integrity. She had recently launched a community initiative supporting single parents returning to stable careers. After learning about Marcus's mechanical experience, work ethic, and reputation through background references, she offered him a leadership position managing maintenance operations across dozens of restaurant locations. The salary would nearly double his income, include health care, flexible hours for Theo, and educational support for his son. Marcus sat quietly, overwhelmed. For years, he believed hard work simply meant surviving another month. He never imagined one ordinary act of kindness could open a completely different future. Months later, life looked remarkably different. Marcus attended Theo's school events without asking permission from multiple supervisors. Evenings were no longer consumed by endless overtime. Theo finally joined the science club he had always dreamed about. Most importantly, father and son laughed again. Their home slowly filled with hope instead of constant worry. Evelyn continued her undercover visits, but now every new employee learned one important lesson during orientation. Skill could build a business, but kindness built a legacy. She never mentioned Marcus's name publicly because true heroes rarely seek recognition. Yet his example quietly transformed company culture across every location. If this story touched your heart and reminded you that one courageous choice can change someone's entire future, please like this video, leave your thoughts in the comments, share it with family and friends, and subscribe to Enlightened Stories so more people can experience stories that celebrate compassion, resilience, and hope. Special request comment: kindness always wins. If you believe standing up for someone, even when no one else will, can change the world, because in the end, people may never remember what you earned, what you owned, or how successful you became, but they will always remember the moment you chose compassion when everyone else chose silence. And sometimes that single decision becomes the beginning of a brand new life for someone who never saw hope coming.